rinse out a soda bottle, like a little fucking soda bottle, let it dry, and just fucking put it in there.
Smart.
True.
Airtight, smell-proof.
It's gonna be a bitch to get the weed back out.
No, you just turn it upside down and shake it. If you get it in, you get it out.
Yeah, especially
you
the
think
That's what I say about anal sex, but who knows?
We're not recording, right?
Hasn't failed.
Yeah, we are. It's
Oh,
it's
boy.
a cold
I know,
open
I know.
where we just
Cold
eventually have worthwhile stuff.
Oh,
Like the other stuff is like the
release
equivalent
like
of
this
what,
is the
B-roll?
What? You release this like the uncut.
Yeah.
before we leave, from now on, every
So
time
they call me in jail. They
keep
call
all
me
the audio.
Uncut J.
from now on, we always have to do an intro for the week that's getting released. So we have to do an intro
For two?
for 2 today.
Right. We'll do it when we're
Because-
done.
Yeah.
It just needs to be me and Kat, I think, for that one.
Yeah.
Robbie should be part of it, but
Right.
we're not getting
Also, I'll say also special guest.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not in episode 2.
I have been
No,
the
the white one?
first, third. No.
No, I
First,
think
fourth,
you're,
and fifth?
you're not in 2. For sure, because I'm pretty
No,
sure
definitely
2
not.
we had a packed room of it was
Because two,
us
I think
3
you guys
regulars,
did during the week
Robbie.
too, and I'm not available during the week.
I think it was just I think it was just the 4 of us being Kat, myself, John, and Robbie for 2. But I'm going to rugged and
Greg,
not yet.
careful playing with that bottle. He's gonna kick that.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to kick his cans too, so we just got to sometimes hope.
Oh, yeah.
Just put it under your chair.
Hope against all
Please
hope.
don't kick it.
Smoke
I
verbs.
won't. I can't get my legs that way. There's a chair in the way.
John, Greg, not John. Not John.
Not usually.
John's like one of your legs. You imagine if you had John's for legs?
I'd be
Weird.
abnormally tall.
Hi, Greg.
John's for
And I'd
legs
have
and
4
Kat's for
legs,
arms.
technically.
We'd have some skinny
Be
legs.
the coolest Voltron.
It's Voltron. It'd be the
coolest.
worst Voltron ever.
You walk in, just be like,
Rail thin arms and legs and like this gigantic core.
It's just, it's like in Luftrausers, the
It's
defensive
like-
body, but with everything else. You just,
Is your hands like the mouth? How's that work?
I
Yes,
don't know.
Kim.
I don't care.
And is it like
Live it, bro.
Is it my face on your feet? Because that would hurt. Ow.
No, your head is probably
I
okay.
kind of thought
I mean,
you were.
it's either your head is my feet
There's
or
2
your head is
Johns.
my ass cheeks.
I imagine
So-
your
Nice.
shoulder connects
Rather
to the,
ass
your
cheeks.
shoulder connects to the hip, and your
Rather
heads are
ass
just sticking out
cheeks.
to the side, and you have 2 legs. Like your
Oh.
legs are
Oh,
you, all of
shitting
you.
next to your head,
Just kinda
constantly.
You're just kind of like you're one leg.
All
and
right,
the
I'm
other
over.
jump.
I'm over this
And
hypothetical.
it's
There's
like,
no
ah,
way in
shit.
here.
So John, what are we talking about?
Voltrons.
Fuck boy. No, I mean tonight.
All right, we're gonna talk about philosophy. Yeah. We're gonna talk about. I really like philosophy because it
Welcome to the high philosophy.
Yeah, high philosophy. It talks about like how we make claims and how we figure out if those claims are true, right?
Okay.
And it I feel like in some regards it takes it like to a more fundamental layer than science, right? You know what I mean? Like science, it's kind of like we make a truth claim, we give evidence or whatever, but psychology analyzes like whether that argument is a valid, strong argument.
You
we're
mean
making.
philosophy.
What's that?
I said psychology.
Oh, I meant
No.
philosophy. I meant philosophy.
I'm gonna put it out, man. He's saying wrong shit anyway.
I'm just saying things. Okay, so something I want to do every once in a while, every whatever episodes or whatever, I want to talk about like the structure of arguments, and I want to talk about how they could be wrong, and not only how like arguments could be wrong, but how our brain could interpret things wrong. So it's basically like the series will be like every way our puny monkey brain could be wrong.
Okay, I'm
All
done
right?
with that.
You good?
My shit's wrong all the
You
time.
know what I mean? Because it's important. It's important to not only for us, like when we make claims to people, but when you hear claims from other people to know whether it's bullshit or not. You got to be like have a bullshit detector. So we're gonna make you a scientific skeptic today and forward.
I'm all about it.
You ready?
Yeah,
You sure?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So, like this structure I'm going to give you, these tools, like I said, are going to help you analyze your arguments, other people's arguments, but it's also going to help you, like, analyze your beliefs that you have. You know what I mean? And if, like, you have to look at your worldview and how your beliefs fit together to make your worldview, and if a belief doesn't hold up to, like, philosophical, scientific scrutiny, then you have to really analyze what's going on there. You know what I mean? I feel like almost not like super regularly because you'll be a crazy person, but like semi-regularly, maybe like every few years or something, you should kind of like like take stock in the shit that you believe in, you know, and see if it it's good stuff.
What am I thinking?
what am I? You know what I mean?
I don't know if I believe in fucking gravity anymore.
I mean, yeah. you have to figure out like where the, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. So let's talk about first. We'll talk about arguments, and then we'll talk about how those arguments could be shitty.
You're blue and wrong. I'm red and right.
That would be yes. That would be an example of a shitty argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God is the one God,
Right.
and your one God's
Religion.
not one
Religion
God.
is still a thing that I do want to talk about, but not yet.
No, let's not get jihad.
I'm not ready. Is everyone good though? Everyone's with me? Okay. So there are two types of arguments. There's deductive arguments and inductive arguments. Okay, with me? So I'm saying words.
Yeah.
The deductive arguments are usually not interesting. Meaning, like the logic you go through for a deductive argument has to guarantee its truth, and usually that's stuff that we kind of take for granted. You know what I mean? It's more of like the really heady philosophical stuff is more inductive arguments,
Okay.
and that's more making a prediction and seeing how likely it is to be true. Deductive arguments have to 100% be true. Inductive arguments are making a prediction, and it's like what's most probable. You know what I mean? It's a little less, it's less rigorous, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Still rigorous, but like less so. All right. In a deductive argument, classic example would be Plato was a man. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's premise one.
Yeah, definitely. We wouldn't have written it down if he wasn't.
All men are mortal. That's premise two.
Okay, I just need to double check that in my head. I don't know.
One more time. You're right. I had to think about it. And then the conclusion would be, therefore, Plato is mortal.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see you didn't really learn anything there?
But yeah, it's good for like dots on a checklist.
Yes.
We know he's
Math,
a dude, he's mortal.
Yes, exactly. Math is usually like a deductive system, right? Mm-hmm. Here's my first step, here's my second step, and it has to always logically follow to the next thing, which is important, right?
Yeah. Then would an inductive argument be that we're not 100% sure Socrates is real? He might have just been Plato writings.
Well, yeah. So like
just kind of say it.
Yeah.
Socrates is real.
Socrates is real. It's not really like you're saying it. It's kind of like an inductive argument would be the sun has come up every day I've been alive, right? The sun will come up tomorrow. Because it's come up every single day that I've been alive, I can predict that the sun will come up tomorrow. I can't know for sure until tomorrow.
Okay.
Right? But that's a very high likelihood truth claim, but it's still an inductive argument.
So weathermen are constantly inductive.
Yes.
Arguing.
Yes. Inductively arguing at you, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good?
Yeah.
All right.
But then aren't inductive arguments more likely to be false?
So like I said, they're not as ironclad as
they're
deductive
heady and
arguments is.
philosophical.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like with a deductive argument, you have to be airtight with every step of the way. Mm-hmm. Inductive arguments kind of like this, therefore this, kind of like it could be true kind of thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or like if you're trying to figure out how to be a good person philosophically, that would be a lot of inductive things you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How to be a good person.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we good?
Don't shit in the post office.
That's pretty deductive. You don't want to be shitting in post offices. but probably like,
Well, I feel like that's only deductive if he has shit in a post office.
yeah, so you have to do it to know.
What
What if it's actually the best thing in the world and no one's ever done it? You have to do it in the center.
Like, oh, this is the best.
It'll actually solve every problem.
It's like being in an echo chamber, but for pooping. Mm-hmm. It's the best poop I've ever had, but everyone's staring at me.
I don't like to have people around me when I poop. I like to pretend that no one exists.
Anybody does. If you think you're a very vulnerable human with half a log coming out.
That's true. I guess that's like selected for that. You want to be alone.
You want to poop alone.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody within 10 feet to protect you in case of horrible predators, poop predators.
Yeah.
Jaguars hide in trees, man.
Like, fuck, dude.
If you're pooping near a tree and then you get mauled by a giant cat.
I'm really happy toilets exist.
I'm really happy houses exist.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Well, houses.
India was not fun. There are no toilets in India.
They just got holes in the ground, right? Where everyone poops in the street.
Or like
you
long
squatted
ditch.
in the hole? Oh, boy.
And then you just
And
go
just
to the bathroom
poop.
next to each
Just
other.
a ditch of poop.
I can't
I
even
think
deal
it's
like the racetracks where it's a trough and you gotta
Yeah.
pee with there's no barriers.
No barriers.
Full on man meat to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it.
None of it.
I don't want it.
Golden rule: you don't look down.
Yeah, see, it's kind of like that, except when you're
Look, I trust.
female,
Yeah,
it's-
I know I'm not looking down.
Eyes front.
Right.
Eyes front.
Eyes front.
But my poor simian brain goes, I know everyone's going to want to look at my penis, and I just can't.
Everyone's like,
Can't pull it out.
Just gonna have to look at theirs back, I guess.
It's the worst, like-
to look, but you want to.
Rubbernecking. Just the worst rubbernecking.
How's it going?
Hey,
It's
buddy.
like, bro, can you like?
You can't go if you're not watching.
Can you fuck off, please? What were we talking about?
deductive versus inductive.
Yes. Okay. Deductive, inductive arguments.
It's
Okay.
not high enough.
All right. So
Pooping in both directions.
there's a couple things you have to look at with the structure of an argument, right? The premises should logically follow each other, right?
Yeah.
And so like, but it's important to remember too that even if you have like a pretty good like structure of an argument, the conclusions could still be wrong, especially with inductive arguments, right? And you can get to the right conclusion using wrong reasoning too. It's important to remember, right? Like I could say that blanket is white. Maple syrup comes from maple trees, and George Washington was the first president. Therefore, George Washington was the first president. Like, the conclusion's true, but, like, how I got there was ridiculous.
Huh.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's important to, like, break down what an argument actually is before we talk about, like,
Yeah.
wrong ways to do it, right? Okay. All right. So you're good with me with the different types of arguments. Okay. Now we're going to talk about logical fallacies.
Yeah.
Which means like ways that it's so like everything we kind of talked about, it seems like it's easy to figure out a good argument, easy to figure out a bad argument, but logical fallacies are like a tool belt for us to figure out things that seem good. They seem like good arguments, but they're really not good arguments. You know what I mean? All right.
Like faith is a virtue. Sorry, I can't get on the top.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
It's
Okay.
not really a virtue.
But this is what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you a logical fallacy. We're going to say what it is, and we have to figure out an example for it. Okay? The first one I'm going to talk about is the bandwagon fallacy.
Okay.
Now, the bandwagon fallacy, like the structure of it would be, because everyone believes in a thing, it's probably good to believe that thing.
Huh.
So now you think about it, like everybody could be wrong, you know?
Everybody could be
So
wrong.
like it's not a solid truth claim just because everyone believes it.
But it sits on a scale. Like if everybody believes that drinking and driving is bad, I tend to agree.
So like
with
you can get to a right conclusion. So we're going to talk like you can get to a right conclusion with the wrong reasoning, right? So even though the conclusion could be right, still like the structure of the argument to get there is fallacious. It's like it's not a strong argument.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So like what's a bandwagon fallacy? Bandwagon fallacy.
You
want
the
bandwagon.
bandwagon
The
fallacy.
bandwagon
That's some
fallacy.
Freudian stuff right
Yeah.
there. So the bandwagon fallacy is believing something strictly because a lot of people believe it.
Right.
That's your reasoning.
So,
which
like-
it may be true, but it's not a good reason to believe it, or it may be false and you only believe it because everybody does.
Right.
So that would be inductive.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Even if if it would be really bad if it was deductive reasoning, right? Like you can't say everyone believes like wouldn't be a proof for why 1 + 1 = 2. You can't be like
But
everyone
everyone
believes
believes.
it, so like it's got to be real.
Everyone believes 1 + 1 is 2.
Right. Like so there's another fallacy I want to get to. Which is appeal to authority, it's called. You're making an appeal to authority. Now, this one is a little trickier because, like, if you're making an inductive argument to a legitimate authority, then it's a pretty solid argument, right? And if you didn't believe that was an okay argument, then school's never gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, like the way we have school right now is totally appeals to authority all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like someone's up front with a tie and they're like, here's this thing that's true. They're like, okay, you seem like someone that should tell me the truth. I guess that's true.
Suddenly know why we're
And
doing
then
this episode.
you write it down, you know what I mean? And then you that's you know what I mean? Like that's how you learn. Like you've learned stuff
You
in
said
school.
it, so
Right.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
So
So
it's like criterion validity.
yes.
On
Right.
a research paper. Yeah.
Yeah. So like deductively, appeal to authority is never good, right? That's not like an ironclad reason why something's true. But inductively, it's pretty good because it's a likelihood that it'll be true, right? Like if an astrophysicist says something and they give me evidence and they show me how the evidence works, like inductively, you could say that's pretty likely to be true, right? But is it guaranteed to be true?
No.
No. Right. Okay. Now, an appeal to an illegitimate authority is generally bad, even inductively. You can't be like, what?
You have not given an example yet
Of what?
of any of the fallacies you've described.
Oh, well,
I
okay.
think we got to learn the fallacies, and then
Right.
you're gonna give an example.
Right,
We're
right.
gonna pick which one it is.
Yeah.
Is that the
well,
attempt?
we
Is
can
that
do
what
that.
we're going for?
We can do
No?
that. We can do that. I'm cool with that.
Let's continue onward.
So
See how much we retained from our great leader.
Like another joint.
right. So okay. Thanks. Oh, what?
No, I'm
Just
good.
the lighter.
Good.
Okay.
That was always my issue with criterion validity, like using that, especially in speech, like using that to establish a reason to like use a test.
Right.
Because we'll be like, okay, well, we made this new test, and it has to be valid because you get the same results as this other test that everybody else uses.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's great, but what if that other test is wrong
Exactly.
too?
Right. Exactly right. So you can't guarantee that it's a
Yeah.
good thing, right? So it's interesting that you could even think of it like it could be in even fields like that, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So like we were saying that you like an appeal to a bad like an authority that doesn't make sense is always bad, right? Like I can't be like I believe that climate change is a thing because Macho Man Randy Savage said it was.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's an illegitimate authority.
I don't know.
What
I
I'm
get
saying.
behind that.
I just.
If,
What do you think you
Oh,
are?
wait. So is there a kind of argument for believing in something because somebody doesn't? Say,
Okay.
For example, I believe in climate change because our dunce president doesn't.
Right. So that would be a fallacy, right? Because so
It's
like
still a fallacy, of
it's
course.
so it would go the other way, right? It's like the opposite of the bandwagon fallacy, like so, or it would be the opposite of the appeal to
The
authority.
abandoned wagon
I don't know.
fallacy, maybe.
So that would be like that. I guess it's opposite because you're saying like, oh, because he believes in it, that means it's not true. I can't believe in it. But like he could believe the right thing even if you don't trust him. You know what I mean? That makes sense. You good? You with me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
New hot take: John doesn't believe in global warming.
No, it's pretty likely to be true, inductively, right? Okay. So here's a pretty good one. Appeal to ignorance. This one, you would say that's something. So this, like, an example of this would be like, there's no way that could be true. Like, my common sense says there's no way that could be true. But like, just because you can't.
So the pigs can fly. Thing.
Yeah, right. Just because you can't imagine it doesn't mean it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
science has proved that over and over again.
Quantum physics is like a perfect example, right? Like, I can't even believe that's a thing, right? Like, I
isn't
can't
real.
even, right? What's that?
Time isn't real.
Time isn't real. Can't even believe that's a thing. But, like, just because you can't fathom it doesn't mean it's untrue, right? It can still hold up to the rules of logic,
Yeah.
right? All right. Everyone good with me? Everyone good? How we feeling?
Oh man,
All right.
feeling it.
I like the idea of like, doing ones and seeing if you guys can get it. I like that.
You
We
would
should
like
do that. All right. But hold on. Okay. So here's a pretty good sciencey one.
Give me a.
So correlation doesn't imply causation.
Knew that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one, especially in science, right? Two things could be correlated. They could kind of seem connected, but that doesn't mean they're actually connected. And there's a really good like I saw a website that had a bunch of these types of graphs, right? That showed things that were so good at be like so correlated, but it was like ridiculous to say that one caused the other. And I'm gonna like botch what they did, but it was something like it would show us like two graphs that were like right on top of each other, and the two graphs were like Nicolas Cage movies and like U.S. consumption of margarine. Yeah, and the graphs are like right on top of each other, so they're super correlated, but you can't say that
One caused the
one
other.
caused the other, right?
I watched
Wonderful.
Face Off
Right?
and just scooped margarine into my body. I just want to take his face.
Just
Oh.
right. Yes.
Vaccines and autism.
Yes. That's something we have to talk about.
Like that is a perfect
Yeah.
correlation. Does not equal causation.
Right.
Macho Man Randy Savage is stopping the end of the world.
Sacrificing himself.
If anybody
to save
remembers.
us.
He saved us from the rapture.
He did.
Screw you, Jehovah's
I want to talk about. I do want to talk about vaccines and the autism and everything. It's
Episode
that's a whole,
20.
That's a whole
Vaccines.
episode.
I'm just saying.
And how,
Too bad.
and how they
Yes, right.
absolutely cause autism, for sure. Check in when we prove that it does.
no,
I will
no.
tell you.
Come
No.
back to see how we prove autism is caused specifically by vaccines and McDonald's.
Will be. What's her name?
Hot new take on vaccines.
Hot new take on McDonald's.
Yeah.
The fuck is her name?
Which part of
Anthony
McDonald's?
McCarthy.
Is it
Yeah.
the dipping sauces?
It's the
Szechuan
I've
dipping
been
sauce.
All right. What were we saying? Other
Habanero
things.
ranch causes autism.
Yes, correlation and causation, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Favorite.
I know, me too.
that sucks, dude.
I'm definitely on the spectrum.
Now I
now.
understand.
All right, do you want to do another fallacy?
hit me with
Definitely
another
on
fallacy.
it. All right.
Can we get a ding noise? Can we get a
That's
ding noise for ding fallacy? Anyway,
The
go
ding
ahead.
fallacy.
You don't need a ding noise. Nobody ding.
So
It stops to go download it.
He was like, get a ding noise stat.
we need it. This next one is called false dichotomy, which means like it's either this or this,
Yeah.
right? So it's like
Yeah. It's
either you believe in God
or
or
you believe in pure
you kill
immorality,
babies. Yeah. Either you believe in God or you kill babies, right?
Well, shit.
And
I know
that's,
people who do both.
That's presenting it like it's either this or this. If you're not this, then
Yeah.
that.
You're either red or blue.
But like, it's ignoring the middle ground. The middle ground. The potential middle ground, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting to think like if certain things
Or
could
it's
be
ignoring the fact
absolute.
that one might not even be the other end of the spectrum. So you're not looking for middle ground. You're asking the wrong thing.
Right. But I guess like
You're either tree or
Yes,
dolphin.
right.
Like, it's just what? Like
but I'm neither though. It like ignores that.
It
But
could be anything.
I was
I've
just
heard a
thinking
bunch
though,
of
like
these.
some things could be a dichotomy though, right? Like you're either an integer or you're not an integer, right? Like if we're talking
well,
about math.
damn.
Yeah, right? So I guess like it's important to remember like some things could be a dichotomy, but like presenting something that is not a dichotomy, I guess would be the fallacy, right? Right? Yeah. All right. Good with that one? We good? All right. Next one? Okay. So there's a group of fallacies called the Red Herring Fallacies. Red Herring. And I'm not sure why it got that name. It's super weird. But like
it resembles a fish.
the fallacies don't look
Is
like
it-
fishes.
No, the red herring is like a.
Full
Like
seed.
yeah.
It's like, oh, look at that over there, right?
Exactly.
So maybe it's a red herring, like, oh, like I would look at a red herring if it was here. Like, is that why it's called
It's
that?
just an old saying. Just let it go.
I just have to
40s.
know. Is it from the 40s?
I don't know. It's fucking old.
Is it like wild
All right.
goose chase?
So, red herring.
Yeah.
It's like a fake clue.
yeah.
Man, wild
Yeah.
goose chase is so much better.
A red herring fallacy is like to bring up a bit of information to like distract from like the actual argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a group of them because there's different ways you could do that, right? So like, an example of a red herring fallacy would be like an appeal to like novelty or appeal to tradition, right? Like appeal to tradition would be like, this is right because it's always been this way, right? Just because it's always been this way doesn't mean it's true, right? It's kind of like diverting the
Like circumcision.
right. Just because that's right. I don't like that's like isn't circumcision no good? It's no good.
No reason.
There's no reason for it.
Completely
Like
unnecessary.
people say it's for
Our country
hygiene,
in
but
Israel.
like yeah,
Our country and Israel.
It's so
are the only
weird.
places where they just automatically circumcise.
yeah. That's genital mutilation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, I'm
that what's
saying
happening?
like there's no point in asking that question.
All right.
Like,
And like you don't want there's no middle ground here because it's like, well, wait till a person's older to decide if they want to be circumcised.
Yeah.
But like
sure, dog.
whoever
shake it
would
off.
want to be circumcised at like 20, you get asked, like, you want
think
me to
really-
just cut a little extra of that skin off? You don't really need it. What?
What were we talking about, dude?
Circumcisions. No,
Oh,
tradition.
appeal to tradition, right? But also the opposite of that, like it's always been that way, so this other way's got to be the right way, like the opposite. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah,
Appeal to novelty, because just because it's a new idea doesn't mean it's true either, right?
Just because an idea is
Right.
tenacious.
Yeah, exactly. So it's important to look at like both sides of it. You know what I mean? All right. Here's a good one. straw man fallacy. When the straw man fallacies is when I attack, I misrepresent your argument in order to easier attack it. So like, let's say, I don't know, give me a claim. Give me something. Anyway.
You can't see air, it's not there.
Okay.
Nope, that's not a claim. I claim that though.
Climate change is real.
Yeah.
Climate change
is not real.
Like, I can't even do it.
We shouldn't go to war.
We shouldn't go to war. So, you're telling me that
We should
if
just let them come
communists
here?
were like killing your, well, I can't.
Dude, no, it's literally the Iraq War thing. We're gonna fight them there, so we don't have to fight them here.
Right.
Like
It's
that's
like
the counter argument to peace.
Yeah.
No. If we don't go to war, they're gonna come fucking fight us.
Right.
You don't care about the
oh.
security of this country.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
now take your shoes off at the airport. America, another
Right.
nation that's the only one that does that.
Here's a good one. So like, you know how like socialism is like super stigmatized? It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, like you might identify with socialism and like
Because of
what someone will be
communist
like, oh, so you think that everyone should, like, we should be like China and like it should be like totalitarian and everything. Like I misrepresent the idea of
call my
socialism into
communist
yes,
dictatorship.
right. That would be an example of it.
Yeah,
Sure,
okay.
communism works.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't
Nobody knows.
Dude,
Well, no, we know socialism works because other nations
socialism
partake in
worked,
it in
like,
some way.
Look
Yeah.
at
Like,
Venezuela.
you don't have to
They're-
fully.
I want to know more about that. I
You
feel
don't
like I
have
don't
to
know
fully-
enough about
Right.
any of that stuff.
But most of Europe has socialized healthcare
Right.
in some way or another.
Yeah.
They socialize airlines. So
Right.
when an airline is doing bad financially, the government will give
Isn't
them a bit
the fact
of a
that they
kickback
come
so
pick
they can
up-
maintain their planes.
Isn't the fact that they come pick up our garbage like some level socialist, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, right?
They're all
I mean,
socialist
it's
concepts, firefighters,
yeah.
public roads, and,
Public schooling.
schooling,
Right.
hospitals, all that socialist
yeah,
ideals.
Totally.
just you don't have to fully socialize a nation for socialism to work. I think maybe fully socializing, doing anything in the extreme is a bad idea. I
Right.
think. What kind of argument's that?
That would be like, I don't know what it's called, but that, like, I think it's like an absolutist
Yes.
fallacy, right? It's all or nothing or something like that.
But like, I personally believe going to any kind of extreme is where you make a mistake. Blending a lot of things that
I think
work,
that's like a middle ground.
like socialize some things. Let's
Right.
steer away from current socio-political issues.
High socio-political issues.
Midway through the Obama era, sorry. They'll never know what year it is now.
Man. Here's a pretty good group of them. Appeal to emotions, right? Just because something invokes an emotion doesn't mean it's logically true or not.
Like
You know
Martin
what I mean?
Luther King.
No,
No.
fuck you.
I'm not gonna touch that one. Like,
Very good speeches to listen to.
just because something makes you feel good doesn't mean it's true. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
universe
like I'm
doesn't
gonna go
have to please you.
I'm gonna go religion, I guess, for a second, right? Or how about forget religion? I'm not gonna go there. What about astrology, right? Like I believe in astrology because I just want to live in a world where that's true. Like I just want to believe it.
Wanna
I
know
want
that
to.
the
I feel
newspaper
better
is gonna
that
be like-
right. Just because you feel that way doesn't make it logically true, right?
Yeah.
Appeal to fear is a big one, right? In politics, especially.
Yeah.
Just because something makes you scared doesn't mean like that should sway you in whether it's true or not, right?
Your oligarchy on, son.
Yeah. What does oligarchy mean?
Wrong word. Don't worry about
Oh, okay.
No, oligarchy is like, for instance, when you say that this people of this religion are the enemy and they're going to hurt
Right.
you.
Like
You-
an other kind of
fear
thing?
mongering.
Oh, okay,
When the
right.
leader does it.
Right. I guess you could appeal to any emotion, huh? What emotion? What other anything?
You can appeal to just about anything.
Appeal to guilt, maybe even like right? Makes you feel
Oh,
guilty.
but
Man, those fucking horrible animal videos. That
Oh, right. That doesn't make it
you can
logically
appeal
true.
to sex, like the want for
Appeal
sex.
to
you
desire.
Use nudity. Women,
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
things like
Interesting.
that.
Right. Just because
What was it, Hardee's
just
sold
because naked
cheeseburger,
women
yeah.
carry it to you doesn't mean it's
correct and good. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna fight
Alright.
on that one.
Here's a good one. It's in Latin. This one's called the Ad Hominem Fallacy. Ad Hominem. And that's when you say that something's false or true just it's an ad hominem's a personal attack. Like, you say a claim and I attack you, not the argument itself, right? We're separate from the ideas. You have to attack the ideas.
A person as stupid as you be making these arguments.
Exactly, right.
You must have just read
that
it
can't
on
be
the
true.
website.
Like James said it.
Yeah,
like, they
fucking
can't.
what an asshole.
It can't be true. Right. That happens in fucking debates all the time, in political debates. They just attack the person and not what they said.
They're also
the
not-
idea.
I hate political debates. They don't even let them really debate.
No.
Why can't they address each other?
Right.
Why can't they talk directly to each other like in a debate?
Just put them
Like
on
people,
speed.
like
Let them
there's
ask
people.
each other questions.
Yeah.
All right, we're losing it.
But it always goes there when you talk about this stuff, you know?
Yeah. We are talking about arguments.
Okay. Here's a pretty good one. Shifting the burden of proof, right? Which means, like, when you make a claim...
Oh, we're going to fall right back into religion. You can't tell me I have to disprove God. Fuck you.
When you make a positive truth claim, it's on you to
You
prove
have
why
positive
it's true.
evidence to produce.
Right. You can't, like, you can't shift the burden of proof on someone else.
Extraordinary
Right.
claims
Yeah.
require extraordinary evidence.
Exactly right.
I don't have to say, you have to show me.
Right. And it's
Your
like,
crazy
no, prove
thing.
to me why I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
yeah.
I can't. You heard about the teapot floating around?
Yeah,
Saturn?
yeah.
It's there. I mean, we can't pick it up on anything. It's really far away.
We're like, dude, I swear.
but it's
like,
there. You gotta believe me.
promise.
There's also one called the Pink Unicorn.
Why don't we talk about this more? Like, why things, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is so important. Knowing how to, like, figure out, like, this kind of shit, right? I feel like it would fix a lot of stuff.
Have you heard about my friend the Pink Unicorn?
Yeah.
He lives in a box under my bed.
Yeah?
He's
Can I go
invisible to everyone but me. I can see him.
Oh, man. Thanks.
You do need to pray to him, though.
Pray
You
to
gotta
him.
say, I love you, Pink Unicorn.
Dude, we're getting to
You gotta
religion
say
again,
it,
dude.
though. And you go, well, I don't want to say it. And they say, well, he'll be very upset with you. And you're going to go to unicorn hell. Forever.
Which is probably still
No,
pretty
this
good.
religion.
Thanks, Joseph
pretty
Smith.
Religion needs like a.
Right? No, you can't look at the book. You'll die. I fucking swear. I swear to this. Me, I think.
Me.
I'm the prophet. Anyway. Fuck.
Oh boy.
Joseph Smith and Muhammad both used to have seizures, and they called it touches of God. Have fun
That's
with that.
interesting.
Muhammad was real, by the way. He was an actual human. He has kids. Anyway.
The other one,
Wow.
clearly not.
Well, Joseph Smith was also real. I'm not talking about Jesus.
What were we talking about again?
Ad hominem.
Oh, right.
Attacking a person
Attacking
with your fists because you don't want to have word arguments.
Oh, right. Yes. Right.
Lay it hominem your shit.
Oh man, the religion episode is gonna be intense. I think I do have some good things to say about religion though. When we get there, but like, dude, I don't know why I'm having a rough
Perfect
time.
in science.
I know.
You're like
sorry.
Rick. And he's rewarded.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. Whatever good arguments you have, I feel I might have a counter.
Okay.
Because
all
it'll
right.
all go back to three things.
Right.
Just because it makes you feel good doesn't
Right.
mean it's right.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Appeal to what would we say that was?
Appeal to
Emotion. Appeal to something,
emotion.
right.
Anyway, go
All
ahead.
right.
Continue. More
Oh,
arguments.
sorry, I keep clapping in front of me. All right. This is a good one. The Gamblers Fallacy.
Ooh, what could go wrong if you do it? I mean, why not?
No. It's actually it's more like imagine you're flipping a coin. Okay.
Yeah.
Flipping a coin, and we have like a competition going on, and you get heads I win, right, and tails you lose,
Yeah.
and it got heads like 10 times in a row.
Wait. No. It can't be heads you win, tails I lose. That means I lose every time. You asshole.
So heads I win, tails you win.
I win. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I was like,
Almost
wait,
got you though. I almost
you
got all the way
really-
through
I
it.
was like, just gonna give him all of my money. I don't need it.
Just keeps throwing it.
Oh fuck! Oh,
I
my throat hurts.
Tails I lose. I don't. Do I
All
gotta
right.
bring a special coin?
So listen, heads I win, tails you win.
Good. That works.
3-sided
I
coin.
like it.
Okay, so we flip the coin, and it's heads 10 times in a row. It's a fair coin. Promise it's fair.
Totally
coin.
fair.
10 times in a row I win. But now I give you an option. I'll let you switch. It was 10 times in a row, right? Like it
Yeah.
should be.
It's probably 11.
So like, if you think that like past events affect like a new event, then that's the Gambler's Fallacy. So it's like, that's like, if you were to predict that, heads have come up 10 times, there's no way it can come up again, it has to be tails. Those last times have nothing to do with the next coin flip. It's 50-50 regardless.
Yeah.
So a good example is also like roulette, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it came up even 5 times in a row.
It's
We're due
definitely-
for a nod. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how chance works. It's a new event every single time. It's
Universe
always
doesn't give a
50.
shit about
Right.
the laws of
You
probability.
can't be hot right now.
Exactly, right. You could predict the probability of, like, we didn't do it yet. You could get the probability of I get tails 10 times in a row. You could predict that probability. It's low, right? But if it already happened, it has nothing to do with future probabilities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. How much time we have? Where are we at?
I don't know.
Don't worry.
All right.
I didn't record any of it.
It's been off the
No, we're going. I
whole
just don't know
time.
how much to cut in the beginning,
Alright.
and it's like 7 minutes in the beginning, so we're either at 30 or like 35. Take your
Okay.
pick. Dealer's choice.
All right, some other good fallacies. Here's, I think, the best one of the whole thing. So, we've talked about a lot of fallacies, right? Just because I present a claim and it's fallacious, doesn't mean the conclusion is wrong.
Well, yeah, because
Right?
that's what makes them because like
Didn't we talk about that one already?
yes, that's
This
That's-
is the second one.
Was that the second one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
wait, no, that's the one where I could be like, it's right because it's always been right, but like that
But
may
it
not
could
be
be-
true that why
it's
right.
not sound evidence. Like, it's not a good argument to get to that conclusion, but the
But
conclusion could be
still,
true.
it's true.
So, like, I believe George Washington was the first president because everyone believes it. I got there fallaciously. I'm on the bandwagon fallacy, but, like, we get to a claim that we're pretty sure is true based on historical record and stuff, right? You know what I mean? It's based on something else. But, like, it's important to figure out, like, the structure of the things to get to our conclusions, right? Because if we have a good tool belt for this kind of stuff, then everything when it comes to science, and even when it comes to, like, constructing your worldview, you're more confident that where you get is a good place to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck, like, yeah. Like if you have, like, a belief in your head and you question it and you're like, wait, why do I believe this thing? First of all, taking that step is big. But, like, if the bottom of, like, why you believe something is because someone told me. If that's, like, the foundation,
You don't
then-
know it.
Then it's like, then you have to really be, like, critical, skeptical of that idea. Like, is that really true then? If it's only because, like, someone told me that that's true? You know what I mean?
So there's this book series called Sword of Truth,
Mhm.
and there's these, like, it's kind of like a sect. I don't remember what they're called exactly, but they're not religious or anything. I think they're like witnesses or something.
Okay.
And like people in this fantasy world like use them as like evidence because they will never say anything that they did not see and know to be true. Like if somebody walks behind a hill, they'll say, okay, I saw them, they were approaching what looked like a hill, and then I have no idea where they went.
Right.
And then they reappeared on the other side of the hill because they can't prove where they were behind, like,
Oh, like
while they were behind the hill.
So they leave existence at that
yeah,
point.
exactly. Like they had no proof of that, so they can't say it.
Right. Isn't that weird? Imagine being that strict with your beliefs, right?
Right.
I can't prove it in this very moment, so I can't even, it ceased to exist. That's intense. Imagine living that way. That's hard.
Physics wouldn't work.
Yeah, right? Like that.
It's
So,
impossible to measure
exactly
quality.
right. So, like, you
Also,
could,
our
if you,
species wouldn't have survived
Yeah.
with that trait.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like there's a leopard in the bush, so there's not, and you're dead. We just wouldn't have survived. The reason
Yeah.
we are how we are is because we needed to not be
Right.
killed by predators.
So-
Yeah, no, it's not effective.
That's the thing.
It removes a lot of the fallacies.
Yeah. They're living 100% deductively. Like, they're living only in a world that they could prove ironclad, like, that something exists, right?
Riding ox.
You know what I mean? But, like, if it goes behind the hill and it came from that way, you could, you're pretty likely, like, 100%, like, almost 100% it's behind the hill. You know, it didn't pop out of existence, right? Yeah. That's a good thing about inductive arguments, so we could do that. Fuck, man. So,
Portal gun, I'm gonna shit.
what?
I said if you pull out a portal gun right now, I'm gonna shit.
Oh, yeah, Morty. Big Morty. No, that's Rick. Rick's the guy with the portal gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Rick and Morty.
He's also burpy. Anyway.
Oh,
And the scientist.
all right. Do you guys want to do a few? Let's see if we can come up with a fallacy. I have an idea. Instead of just me doing it, we could all do it. If someone has an argument they want to make using one of the fallacies, like try to make it and then see if we can figure out what fallacy it is. That's how I'll finish off. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
All right. So if any, I'm gonna try to think of one, but if anyone has one, let me know. Fucking.
Alright, I have one.
Yeah.
We're arguing the whole episode. And then
Yeah, I got nothing.
Called the cold mother theory.
Uh huh. Oh, like this is a real.
It's a real one.
Oh
yeah.
man. Okay.
And so for a long time, people believed that autism was caused by mothers being unable to connect with their children.
Oh.
And then eventually we realized that no, like, the children can't connect.
Right.
And then that, like, causes the mother to not be able to develop that bond.
Right.
Because they can't get through. Like, it's not that they're doing anything differently. It's like the cause goes the other way around, essentially.
Right. That's really interesting.
When in fact, it's the mothers that got them the vaccines that got them the autism.
No.
nice.
No.
It's good how you work that in.
Next episode, we kill James.
All right. That's really interesting because
If you believe that, you're a bad
Fucking
person.
Correlation.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So like,
Correlation.
there's a lot of emotional stuff there, right? Like the kid, like autism's not like that's no good, right? And like trying to figure out why it's like we need to figure out why it's going on, like trying to understand this thing we don't understand, and the first person we blame is the mom. And like it's that sucks for the mom, right?
Yeah,
Imagine living in a world where it's your fault that your kid has autism.
Well,
That's intense.
Stop it! I already know what you're gonna say. You vaccinate him? There you go.
I was gonna
No.
say, I mean,
Ah.
cuddle him some
You're
more.
killing me. But like that's why it's important, because like our emotions say we need to figure out what's going on, and like we latch onto that idea that has to be the way it is, based on like I'm gonna try to find reasons why that is. That's called cherry picking. If you try to find things to prove the conclusion you already made, amongst the sea of no, this isn't true, then you're cherry picking, right? If like 100 articles say that vaccines don't cause autism, but you pick the one debunked one wrote in 1954 that was retracted, and you pick that one, you're like, nah, that's why it's true.
Yeah.
That's like the worst form of cherry picking.
I do like
Damn. How's that feel?
cherry pick all the time. I'm constantly cherry picking. I will always use the best thing to prove myself right. I'm trying to prove you wrong. This is called a debate.
That was a really good one, Kat. That was a great one. That was very good. Okay. All right. Okay. This is so. I believe. I believe that you should, if to be a good person, you could never lie ever.
Oh dang!
That's hard,
Are you
right?
Persian?
You can never lie. Because I had to give you a reason though. That's the conclusion, right?
Because lying creates horribleness in you, and I don't want to hang out with you.
Right. Because wait, this is gonna be good. So the reason why this is true is because James is stupid.
Oh wow! Is this Ad Hominem? You piece of shit.
Yeah. That was
like,
the
yeah.
worst one.
wanna-
It started with like something really
I
like
believe-
thought provoking.
A good person doesn't lie because James
But like
is stupid.
figuring out the answer to that question is tough, right?
Yeah.
And like you have to figure out that like every step that you try to figure out that idea is logically sound, right?
Well, it's like I remember
That's a hard thing to
kindergarten being
navigate.
told about white lies. Like, somebody's like, it's sometimes okay to lie, and I'm like,
By that logic, if we educate James a little bit, we should be okay to lie.
everybody should be able to lie
Should
as
be
soon
able
as
to
I'm
lie.
smart.
Just give him some
Smart.
books.
Yeah. But
Okay,
like,
everybody starts
Everyone in
reading.
society
Does-
by learning.
so like, does it make you a bad person to lie once? You know what I mean?
Assuming you're right, yes.
I don't know. It's weird. But whatever. That's a whole philosophy question, I guess. All right. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, clearly.
I just read a book that talked about all that. It was pretty interesting. Whatever.
I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
little kids fucking lie all the time.
They lie all the time. And children are like
Because they don't want to get in trouble.
precious
Exactly.
and pure or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
though. We would all be horrible
yeah.
people by the time we were like 2.5.
Couldn't help it.
Did you eat that cookie? No.
No.
Shit.
Nice.
You put,
Hell with you!
You put them in a system where lying was the best
Right?
option, right?
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
We're all damned.
Fuck, man.
Was Louis C.K. joke where he's like, what? You gave him this super amazing option out with no repercussions whatsoever. Of course they're gonna take it.
Yo, Louis C.K. He's the man, dude. All right. Any other fallacies? What are we doing?
Quickly stall for time. Everyone,
All right, I have another speech one for you.
Oh, cool.
This might be a hard one because I don't know that we talked about the fallacy that makes this fallacious, or probably does. So it's called the demands and capacities model, and usually it refers to stuttering, the cause for stuttering,
Oh.
and it says that children stutter because they're like essentially their language development and their like neural and physical abilities are not at the same level.
Right.
So it causes this like mismatch where they're trying to do too much in one area and the other area can't keep up.
Interesting.
But it's like widely accepted that it's fallacious because it's too broad. It
Right.
fits everything. No matter what the issue.
Oh.
Of course.
It has
they
that
can't
quality.
Keep up with
Right.
it's obvious. It always has to be true.
the no duh argument.
Yeah.
Then the duh.
Like it sounds great
Right.
when you first hear about it, and then you're like, oh wait, this
This is
actually
always true.
always is true. Like
Yeah.
it explains nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. But like, they got to like a true statement. It's just not a useful true statement, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's really what it
It's
is.
blue. Everybody knows that.
Right.
Duh.
Is it though? The sky.
Talked about this. We did
The
refraction
sky would be
thing. We talked
purple
about it.
if you had more
Yeah.
violet perceptors.
But we
Yeah.
don't.
We don't. You're right. It's like we
We
perceive
don't.
it as blue. Yeah, you're right. I guess perception's part of this whole thing too.
Yeah.
Anyone have any fallacies? I'm fresh out. I'm pretty fried.
I gotta pee real bad. I'm like swimming here. Just trying to
Teeth
think.
are floating.
Yo, next time I want to talk about cognitive biases though.
Okay.
Sure.
Just like how the ways our brain processes things.
All right, so everyone
Oh, yeah.
shut up. Let's do an intro for 2 right now. What was 2 again?
Life, science of life.
Okay. So what do you want the intros to be? Like, hi, I'm
Go
John.
to pee real quick and come back.
No. We're gonna leave here and be done.
Okay.
So what do you want the intros
All
to
right.
be?
Let's say like this is high science. This is what we're talking about today, and like
Go with it. I'm just gonna follow you. Do it.
I'm John. I'm James. I'm Kat. You know what I mean?
We don't need to go.
Hi, all 3 people. No, just
No, like
just
that's
start. We'll
Oh,
follow.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So, this
Keep
is
all the okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, everybody. This is High Science.
this is High
I'm
Science.
James. This is Johnny Science. That's Cat Pants. I gotta pee real bad. So fucking start before I slap you a lot.
all right. So this is high science, where we smoke and figure things out. We're talking about life, and I'm John.
I'm James,
And I'm Kat.
and there'll be other people sometimes. But today we're talking about what is life.
Also, Robbie's here.
Rob, you'll hear him. He's the one that doesn't sound like any of the rest of us 3. Done. Easy. Perfect. I'm going to take a whiz. Fuck all this.
Was that good?
I quit. I'm out. Good luck with your life. I'm going to drown in something.
So squeeze James.
This is drown in my own piss.
Oh.
I can't.